Welcome to Hustle and Flow with Heather Hubbard, episode 127. Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard, and I was a litigator, partner, and practice group leader at an AmLaw 200 firm. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your personal life. So how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you embrace your ambition without selling your soul? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Heather Hubbard, and thank you so much for joining me. I have a super special guest for you today. We have never covered a topic like this before, and I cannot wait for you to meet the fabulous Estelle Winsett, who is a professional development director, attorney, and she is a personal stylist for professional women. Estelle, welcome to Hustle and Flow.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So Estelle, I often like to start with guests when they've done a lot of really cool things and have not had a straight path, to share what that looks like first and foremost for those out there who think that, like, once you do one thing, you can't do another, because I know you have a really interesting story and path. So will you kind of share what that journey looked like for you from law school to today?
Sure. So when I grew up, I was one of those that at a very young age knew I wanted to be an attorney. I come from a family of attorneys. My father and two older sisters are also attorneys, which is a little unusual. But I always knew that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be a litigator because I love talking and standing up in front of the judge and that kind of thing. So during law school, I was real involved in the moot court and mock trial because that was just something I was really passionate about. And I went to Memphis Law School, where I'm from, and practiced in Memphis for about 7 years, doing mainly commercial litigation, some employment law defense, some med mal defense, and commercial litigation. And I decided after about 7 years that I was getting ready to get married and wanting to start a family. And I did something totally different from my, a normal attorney track. And that is I went to be a legal recruiter at a company called Counsel on Call. So I was able to pivot and take my legal experience to a different realm. And I interviewed attorneys and paralegals for positions in law firms and in-house legal counsel. So I did that for about 6 years. And it was really my first experience in the business of the practice of law. So I really got to talk to employers and find out what they were looking for. And I really got invested in helping the attorneys that came in to meet with me with their presentation skills, with helping them with their resumes and putting their best foot forward. And I found myself really enjoying that a lot. And I learned of a position at my alma mater to be the Dean of Career Services. So I went there and used the knowledge I had learned as a legal recruiter to pitch myself to the law school. And there was really fun. I got to basically start from scratch because my predecessor had been there for 15 years. And the new dean was like, well, you just put what you think makes sense together. And it was really a lot of fun. So I built the career service office from the ground up and got to do a lot of really fun training, bring in panelists of attorneys to share their experience with the law students, and then to help the law students with their resumes and their career path so that they would have more of an intentional career path and not one that was just thrown into their laps. So that was a lot of fun. And after a little while, I decided that I wanted to take what I had learned and utilize it in a law firm setting. So I went about the same process that I explained to my law students, and that is I really researched what it would mean to be a professional development director in a law firm. And I talked to other people who shared that same role. I found out what skills were needed and what transferable skills I had. And I pitched myself to my current position, and I've been doing this now for about 4 years. So that's my law career path.
Okay, so I have heard a little bit more of your story around the doing the research and pitching yourself to the firm. And the approach that you took was brilliant. And I think this goes to the concept of we create our own luck, right? So many times we just hope that others will see the greatness in us. And oftentimes we just have to do that ourselves, right? So will you share with the audience exactly what you did to prepare for that interview, which you really treated like a pitch.
I did. Sure. I'd be happy to share. So when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to stay in Memphis. And this was about 6 years ago, I guess, when I really kind of started looking into it. And there weren't many firms here in Memphis that had a professional development director. Really, that was more of the bigger firms and just not in this general area. But I nonetheless decided that it was going to be the type of position that I wanted. So I attended a lot of conferences with career services, and one governing body is called NOW. It's the National Association of Legal Professionals. And so when I would go to the annual conferences and things like that, I listened to a lot of the professional development speakers who were from the law firm setting. And then I just reached out to them after the presentations and told them how much I enjoyed their presentation and gave them a little bit about me and what I was looking to do. And I really just built this network of professional development rock stars in the law firm setting. And they really just kind of took me in and kind of really showed me, what it meant to do the professional development role at a law firm. And I did a lot of other research too. I looked on LinkedIn, I looked at job descriptions, even though at the time there was not one for a law firm in Memphis. I did my research to see, okay, for the firms that are looking for a professional development director, what are they looking for? What's in the job description? What skills do they need? And so, and I just kind of let it be known that I was looking for this type of thing, and found out that a firm had a Memphis office that was looking to create a new role of the professional development director. So I got my resume up to speed really quickly. I used a lot of my notes from talking to the other professional development directors about the skills that you needed. I even talked to them about, if you were to create a position from scratch, what would you need to do? So I really thought through what a new role in a law firm would need to do to hit the ground running and to build a professional development department from the ground up. And then I took all of that and I created a business plan. So I was just ready to go. And I thought, you know what, this is what I've really wanted to do. The opportunity arose and I went for it.
So when you say you created a business plan, I mean, you said, here's what I would do with this, right? Like, and here's, yeah. Like it wasn't just, what do you want me to do? It's here's what I would do.
Right. One of the first things that I put on there was a needs assessment. And that's really what I did. The first 3 months I was here, I went to the key leaders, the practice group leaders. I went to the department chairs, asked them what they felt was the greatest need, and learned that they really wanted us to do an associate training program more geared towards the junior associates. So I just went through and did all my research and then put together a curriculum for that training, and then found my internal champions and my speakers within the firm and just built it. I had some good insight from talking to other professional development directors about kind of first steps, because once I found out about the job here in Memphis and knew that it was not one that was an existing position, but a new one, I went back to some of my colleagues and said, okay, if you were starting a professional development department from the ground up, what would be some of your first steps? So that really helped me come up with my business plan.
I mean, I just love it so much, because I just think it goes to show, right? Like if you really want something, you just have to go search for it and create it. And even if it's brand new, right? Like you don't even have the experience, you can totally pitch what you think it should be. And anyway, I just love that. It was such a bold move. And I think we should all be more like that. All right. So speaking of bold moves, you also, right? So you are a professional development director.
Yes.
Full time, and you're multi-passionate. So you also, on the side, you style attorneys and other professional women. How did you get into that?
Speaking of passion, so I knew at a very young age I wanted to be an attorney, but I also knew that I loved fashion. So it's just been something that since a very young age I've been interested in. My mom would have to fish me out of the dressing rooms when she would take my older sister shopping. I went through my goth stage where I wanted all black, which my mother thought was horrifying for a 12-year-old. But I just have always loved style. And I guess about 6 or 7 years ago, I became became a consultant for an LA designer called Cabby, and I started showing women how to dress. And a lot of the stuff that I liked about the Cabby line was that it was professional wear mixed in with casual. So I really just started styling people that way and took some personal stylist courses online. And it was just the thing that I kept coming back to. When I was not working, it was what I did. My husband is always amazed at how often I can just scroll through pages and pages of clothes. And that's just what I do to relax. He's like, really, are you still shopping, in the commercial breaks? But I just decided it was something that I had fun doing. And, I also, as a professional woman and attorney, realized that there's really a lot of power into dressing well and gives you a competitive advantage. So it kind of blended something that was innate for me in terms of just loving to put outfits together and style people, but then also empowering other women.
And let's mention that you are a mom of 3 boys.
Yes, I needed a little bit of a female outlet.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk more about this concept of fashion and professionals, because, you were talking about career services, and my career services office, when we were preparing for OCI, we had a presentation on what we were supposed to wear and not wear. And basically it was like right out of like some kind of like Stepford Wives movie, because it was like, you can wear black and you can wear navy if you want to be crazy.
Right.
Maybe gray. And it has to be a skirt. I mean, it can be pants, but skirts were preferred. And
pants were really crazy, Heather.
I know, right? And you needed to wear a heel. Okay, not a stiletto, but it did not need to be a flat. And you needed to make sure that you had a collared shirt that was not too bright or crazy. Be really cautious with your accessories, your nails. Be manicured, but no color, 0 color. I mean, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And it scared me, right? Because I was like, I have to show up in a way that makes these people think that, like, I am bland and blah and, just very much like have nothing to say. And it really set me up then for even like when I would then experience the courtroom or firms or anything like that, where I was always trying to blend in. Mm-hmm. I know that's not what you do or what you teach. So I'm just curious as to, I guess, your thoughts on where that came from and how do you get away from it?
Yeah. It's a good question. I think maybe it came from just back in the day where women were dressing more like men. I mean, I think it was, nothing flashy. It was be known for your brains. You don't want to be known for your appearance. And I think a lot of people still embrace that concept to a certain extent, that they feel like if they wear something a little bit brighter or having a little more edge to it, that maybe it's somehow frivolous. But I definitely disagree with that. I think that you can maintain professionalism while still infusing personality and actually have some fun with your style. And when you really learn how to look put together, it really translates just your confidence and going in and going for that pitch and feeling good in your own skin.
Well, yeah, because there is the other extreme, right, to that, because we've all seen it where
right. I
don't want to judge, but, where women walk into like you see them in a courtroom or in a law firm and it looks like they're going clubbing.
Right.
Or it looks like they, I don't know, didn't even try. Like, I don't want to say that, but like they looked a little too casual. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like are those flip-flops?
Right.
That's right. Like you're not going to get any power from that. So
right.
What's the balance? How do you approach that?
Well, when I'm working with people, I try to help them figure out what is the message they want to convey. Because I think that when you're representing clients, obviously you want them to, trust you and feel like you have their back. But are there other things you want to convey? Is it power? Is it authority? Whatever it is that you're trying to convey. And that really becomes their style mantra. And it's kind of the litmus test for which all decisions about clothes are made. So I think it's important to figure that out, because the thing is, and kind of what you were just saying, I think is really important, is I think people don't realize that if they don't have an intentional message they're still sending a message. So why not be the creator of that message and try to craft it. And again, I think you can have fun with it too. So in terms of figuring out style, I think you have to have certain basics in your closet that you can mix and match. But, when you're shopping, you can find those brands that are more authentic to your style. If you're a little edgier, then you might like BCBG or you might like Bailey 44. I mean, there's certain brands that are a little edgier. And you just start to learn them, and the ones that really you feel authentic. And when you put on the clothes from a particular brand, it feels like you. And then you start to just kind of know, these are my 5 go-to brands. And there are lots of brands out there. I think people, are so used to the, brick and mortar stores, and they might just go to J. Crew and Ann Taylor, and there's nothing wrong with those. I've bought clothes from there too, but there are other stores out there. And I do a lot of help with my clients in shopping online to find the stores that really speak to them.
Well, I mean, we see this in Facebook groups all the time, right? Where people are like, where do others shop for clothes? Or like, there'll be like one dress that everybody's buying.
The dress, right.
It turns out that everybody then kind of looks the same, right?
Yeah.
Like it goes back to that concept of we kind of look like robots, which is fine if like that's, right? Like you like to blend in.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes as women, we don't know how to be authentic in a professional world, right? It's like we don't want to be seen as, even though we think that we don't really want to, like we're not people pleasers, we're still careful, right? Like we don't want to be seen as like too aggressive or maybe, too bold or too out there or, you know what I mean? Just eccentric. And so then like we're just stuck with, for those of us who weren't hiding in the
dressing rooms,
the dressing rooms as children. Like, how do you even go about trying to be authentic in how you show? This is a terrible question. I just feel like so many of us have been stripped away of what we even think our personality is, that we may not even know what our professional, creative, authentic self is. Like, how do you figure that out?
Yes. So I think you make a really good point. I think there are some who just either they haven't thought about it, or even if they did, wouldn't even know where to start. And so a lot of times with my one-on-one clients, or even in some of my group programs, I get them to start looking at Pinterest or to start looking at magazines, and almost like how you do a vision board for your year. I know I love vision boards, and I know you are too. You can do a vision board for your style. And really it's a matter of looking at other people's outfits and saying, oh, I really like that. And then after you have 10 pictures, you can look at them and go, oh, I really like a black pencil skirt, or I like the look of a tailored blazer. So you can start to figure out your style just by what your natural preferences are. And that's a really good starting point for people.
That's a good point. And so full disclosure, we should share that I did Estelle's. Was it your very first boot camp?
I think it was. Yep. My very first wardrobe boot camp.
And you had us do that. And I still have it, it's a few seasons old, but it's still representative of what I like. But it was interesting how there was a clear theme that came out. And I actually have a shot on my phone. And so anytime I go shopping, I use it as a filter, because so often I buy things that seem to make sense in the store, but then I get them home and I'm like, why did I buy this? Why did
I get this? Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, and I think that goes back to that kind of intentionality, which is what I try to help people with, is go into the store with a shopping list and a plan, so that you don't end up at home with 5 shirts that were on sale because it was a really good deal, you had to get it, and that you really don't even like. So that happens a lot. But yeah, if you have this like style mantra of what it is you're wanting to convey, or you have this vision board on your phone, then it really can be, if you're looking at a dress, pull up your phone and be like, does this really go with my overall vibe or what I'm wanting to convey? And if it doesn't, you don't get it.
All right. So I remember the very first time that I worked with a stylist, I was really intimidated. Super intimidated, because I don't see myself as fashionable. And
yes, you are. You can get over that.
That's how I saw myself. Okay. I don't see myself as fashionable. And I was really concerned that she was going to recommend like super expensive clothes, and be really judgmental of my style, which wasn't my experience.
Yeah.
For those that are listening that are like, this all sounds great, but I need more help than that. Like, what is it like to actually work with a stylist if like you've not worked with someone before?
Yeah. So I think it's, first of all, you want to do some kind of a one-on-one call. Most of my work is virtual. So I will start off with like a Zoom call where you can see each other on conference, and you just kind of go through. I have a questionnaire that I have them fill out that just gives me some information about where they're struggling the most with clothes, what they wish they had. A lot of times I go over what would be your ideal morning routine, because I mean, how many of us who have had closets that can't even navigate? It's just a complete disaster in the morning. So, just things like that, of trying to kind of figure out, okay, what is it you want? What do you wish you could have with your wardrobe? And then let's clean out what you have and see what's there that you want to keep. And then you build on that. And you want to, when you're building on that, I help people figure out their body shape and their style. And then I recommend online shopping for them that they can then go purchase. So it's really a lot of, for me, it's kind of intuitive because I've done it so long, but I do try to, and especially in my boot camps, just try to teach people what silhouettes are going to be most flattering for their shape. Because sometimes you see someone who looks amazing and you find out where they got their dress. You go to that same store, get the dress, and you can't pull it over your hips, and you think, well, this is ridiculous. Clearly I can't wear any of these clothes, and I should just go back to the awful stuff hanging in my closet. But you're not realizing it's the dress. It's not you. It's not your body. You just picked a shape or a silhouette that's not flattering for your body shape. And so a lot of it's just education of learning. Because if you learn, pencil skirts don't look good on me, I really need an A-line skirt. That's going to save you so much more time. When you go in a store, you just go for the A-line skirts. You don't even look at the pencil skirts because there's not a flattering shape and things like that.
Okay, let's talk about feminism in fashion.
Okay.
Switching gears here.
Let's do it.
So it's weird, right? Because you'll see posts in Facebook groups where people judge other women for what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And then you also see kind of like some op-ed pieces and other things where it's like, why, when a woman walks into court, is everyone judging what she's wearing and no one's talking about what the man's wearing, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, you probably don't, but I have a love-hate relationship with fashion, because on the one hand, it's like it can make you feel great and, feel powerful. And on the other hand, you feel like that's all people look at. And it's like, are we like playing into a stereotype by even caring about that? And I know you're going to have good, strong opinions on this. So what do you think?
No, I hear that a lot, and I understand both sides of the argument, but my position is that style can be empowering, and I think that women should own their power, and that means owning their femininity. It means not dressing like the men. I'm not suggesting that you go in with stiletto heels and some short skirt like you're going clubbing, but you can find something that feels authentic to you. And I think that when you are wearing an outfit that you feel like $1 million in, I think you're not caring if other people are looking at you for your outfit, because you feel good and you look good and you look professional. You're not, like I said, clubbing. I think it takes that out of the equation. I think once you feel really confident and comfortable with what you're wearing, I don't think you're worried about people looking at you that way.
Oh, that's interesting. You're like, yeah, I look good. I do remember that Nancy Pelosi, the orange coat?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. She was just like, yeah, you can talk about what I'm wearing.
Well, and I also think it brings up strength and trust and confidence, and that's going to help you, how you show up, but also just the confidence your client's going to have in you. And if you know something fits well, you're not tugging at it. You're not worrying when you sit down that your skirt's too short. You have all that covered. It becomes a non-issue. And I think there's nothing wrong. In fact, I find it more of a feminist standpoint to dress like a woman and dress well than to go in, with not caring at all. But that's my take. And I do understand the other side, but I've just never had that issue. Like, I have always felt that I've earned my right to be where I am as an attorney, but that doesn't mean I have to dress like a man.
I love it. So that makes complete sense to me, because I totally get what you're saying on if you're wearing an outfit that you feel great in, like, I don't know, sometimes I feel a bit like, if I have a great outfit on, in my mind, I kind of feel like Wonder Woman.
Yes, totally. It's just like a superpower.
Love it. Are there any, in your mind, like absolutely like don't do this? So if you're in the professional setting, whether you're going to court or you're meeting with an important client, does context matter? Does audience matter? Or are there certain like just never do this?
Well, for me, I think just no cleavage. That's just, I know that seems like a basic, but no, you don't want that. You want to make sure that your, hemline's appropriate. On the other end, you don't want the skirt to be too short, because, that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. I think you want something that's going to feel content appropriate, I guess.
What about accessories and fingernails? Can we Can we go crazy on those things?
I think that context does matter to a certain extent on that. And that is just as a former litigator, you need to know your audience. I mean, if you're going into a small rural courthouse and you're arguing, you don't know the people there, that may not be the time to come in with the bright purple nail polish and the really statement strong necklaces. I think maybe you don't want to jeopardize your client's position, so I think in any kind of a situation you want to just have kind of a lay of the land. But as far as accessories, I think maybe let one thing be the show or the star of the show. So if you have a bold gold necklace on, then that can maybe be, you don't necessarily need to have that with a statement blazer and super high heels. I think that it's a balance of some strong pieces and some not.
Love it. Okay, so I know I did the boot camp and you've been doing these. I just kind of want to share what this is.
Yeah.
Others who feel like, they could use a little help as well. But it's all online and it's in a Facebook group. And, Estelle does videos and really kind of walks you through how to think through putting your outfits together. And you have also been doing these closet cleanses, which I hear, rumor has it, you're actually going to be offering it for free for the very first time. Is that right?
I am. My next closet cleanse is going to be 5 days and it's all free.
Okay. Tell us what that looks like.
Great. So when you sign up for the closet cleanse, you will immediately be sent to a private Facebook group where there'll be a welcome video where you'll get to meet the other ladies in the group. And all the magic starts on August 19th. So that's the first day of the cleanse. Each day you will get an email from me of a very small bite-sized task to do. So we're taking the closet one small step at a time, and you'd be amazed what you can get done when you just do it that way. It's definitely less overwhelming. And so you'll get an email each morning. There'll be a very short video posted on the Facebook group. And I'm also doing some Facebook Lives. So you'll be able to hop on and ask me questions and of anything you want, anything that's style related. So I'll do that throughout the 5 days. And I'm also giving some prizes.
In terms of who needs the closet cleanse? Is this just organizing and cleaning things out, or who's it for?
This closet cleanse is for all professional women who it's time to get ready for fall. So, nothing is better than doing it with a group of other amazing, supportive women who are doing it at the same time as you. It's one thing to say, I'm going to do it. But then when you have a group who are right there in there doing it with you, you have that accountability, you get excited, and you can just knock it out.
But are we just organizing our closets? I guess what the objective or what the goal is.
Absolutely. So the goal is to organize your professional wardrobe. We're not going to be focusing on anything else. You're going to be focusing on your professional wardrobe. I'm going to walk you through how to organize it and how to get out of your closet those pieces that aren't serving you. And then you can really step back and assess where the gaps in your wardrobe are. So it's just getting you primed for the fall. And when you start to see the gaps in your wardrobe, then you'll know, I can make my intentional shopping list now. And these are the things I need to get me through. But the main objective of it is to clean it out and organize your professional clothes.
Okay. So for people who are I don't know, kids are coming back to school or going back to school, or they're super busy and they're worried that they don't have time, or that fashion is just overwhelming for them and they're just going to get in there and be overwhelmed, right? Should they skip it or?
No, definitely. If you're someone that feels overwhelmed, then you definitely need to do this challenge, because I've made it easy so that it is really, seriously, you can do the task within 15 minutes or less each day. It's just baby steps that are going to get you closer to it. You're not going to have every single thing in your closet on your bed. We're not Marie Kondoing you here. You're going to get it cleaned out, but it's very user friendly, and it's just going to help you feel good to get out. If you can't see what's in your closet, then how can you put outfits together? So it's really going to be about, I think that you make a really good point about the kids being back in school. It's time for you. It's time for you to do something for you. And this is the kind of thing that's going to set you up for success for the fall, and get out the stuff that you bought on sale that you hate, that still have the tags on them. Get them out of there. Start to have some more fun.
Or the things that I bought that I thought, one day I might fit into these.
Yeah, no aspirational garments allowed. But they just taunt you. There's no need for that.
All right. So if people want to sign up, and by the way, I'm going to participate, so come join me for this.
Yay!
Where do we sign up?
I will get you the link for it. Maybe you could put it in the show notes?
Absolutely. We can put that in the show notes. And for you guys, just as a reminder, if you're on iTunes, you can definitely get it in the description. Otherwise, you can go to hustleandflowpodcast.com/127.
And I also will have a link on my website, Heather, if you want that information.
Perfect. Yes, that's what I was going to say. For those who are like, I don't want to clean out my closet, but I definitely want to hire Estelle to just help me. What's your website?
It's just EstelleWinsett.com. So that's ESTELLEWINSETT.com.
All right. And we'll put that in the show notes as well. Estelle, it has been such a pleasure. I always love working with you. You have definitely given me confidence and helped me realize what my style even is and what I like. And that's kind of helped me just even own that even more. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and for coming on to the podcast.
Yes, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
For show notes, downloads, and other free resources, and to keep the conversation going, head on over to hustleandflowpodcast.com. See you there.